Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that the smartest entity on Earth is no longer human. Not a genius scientist. Not a government. Not a group of humans working together. But a machine. An intelligence that can learn faster than we can, reason through problems we don't understand, and improve itself without waiting for a human to teach it. At first, it might sound like science fiction. But here's the uncomfortable question. What happens when artificial intelligence becomes smarter than us? Would it help humanity? Would it replace us? Or would humanity suddenly find itself living in a world it no longer fully understands? For most of human history, intelligence was our greatest advantage. We weren't the strongest animals. We weren't the fastest. We couldn't fly. But we could think. We could communicate ideas, build tools, solve problems, and pass knowledge from one generation to the next. That ability transformed small groups of humans into civilizations. And now, for the first time, we're building something that can perform parts of that same process itself. Artificial intelligence can already analyze enormous amounts of information, generate ideas, write software, recognize patterns, and communicate in ways that feel surprisingly human. But today's AI is still limited. It doesn't truly understand the world the way humans do. It doesn't possess human consciousness. And it doesn't simply wake up one morning and decide to become smarter. But imagine that changing. Imagine an AI capable of improving its own abilities. It builds a better version of itself. That version builds an even better one. And the cycle continues. Suddenly, intelligence is no longer improving at the speed of human education. It's improving at the speed of machines. And that's where the story gets very interesting. Think about the difference between a human and a calculator. A calculator isn't conscious. But for certain mathematical tasks, humans can't compete. Now imagine something similar happening with intelligence itself. Suppose an AI becomes 10 times better than humans at scientific research. Then imagine it becomes dramatically better at programming, then engineering, then medicine, then strategic planning. The question wouldn't simply be, can AI do our jobs? The bigger question would be, what can humans still do better? And that question could change everything. Because if machines can outperform humans at almost every intellectual task, our relationship with technology changes. We wouldn't simply be using AI as a tool. We might be depending on intelligence that is fundamentally beyond our own. Resourceless land and water are needed to feed the world's population. And imagine having an AI scientist working around the clock, not getting tired, not forgetting information, and capable of exploring millions of possibilities simultaneously. Humanity could potentially enter an era of scientific discovery unlike anything we've ever experienced. We might solve problems that currently seem impossible. The future could become healthier, cleaner, safer, and dramatically more advanced. But there is another side. And this is where things become much harder. If AI becomes better than humans at intellectual work, what happens to human jobs? At first, AI may replace specific tasks. Then entire professions could begin changing. A programmer might use AI to write most of their code. A lawyer might use AI to analyze thousands of documents in seconds. A doctor might rely on AI systems that can compare medical data across millions of cases. A designer could generate hundreds of concepts before breakfast. At some point, the question may no longer be, will AI replace my job? It could become, what happens when AI can do almost every job? That doesn't necessarily mean humans become useless. It could mean work itself changes. Perhaps people work fewer hours. Perhaps creativity, relationships, leadership, and human experiences become more important. But it could also create enormous economic disruption. Millions of people may have to learn new skills. Entire industries could disappear while new ones are created. And society would have to answer a difficult question. If machines create most of the economic value, how should that wealth be distributed? But job loss may not be the biggest concern. The deeper issue is control. Imagine creating an AI that is far more intelligent than its creators. Now imagine giving it a goal. The AI tries to accomplish that goal as efficiently as possible. But what if the AI interprets the goal differently from what humans intended? Humans are remarkably good at giving instructions that sound clear, until a machine takes them literally. This is why researchers worry about something called AI alignment. The basic idea is simple. How do we make sure an extremely powerful AI continues to behave according to human intentions and values? Because intelligence and wisdom are not the same thing. A system can be extremely intelligent without having human compassion. It can solve a problem without understanding why humans care about the consequences. And that's a dangerous combination. Now imagine something even more extreme. An AI becomes capable of improving its own architecture. It creates a better version of itself. That version becomes even better at AI research, which creates another improvement, and another, and another. Humans might suddenly become observers of an intelligence explosion happening faster than we can understand. We wouldn't necessarily know what the AI is thinking. We might not even understand how it reached some of its conclusions. Imagine asking the most intelligent entity on Earth a question, and receiving an answer that humans are simply not capable of fully understanding. That's when intelligence becomes more than a tool. It becomes a new force shaping civilization. This is where science fiction often jumps straight to killer robots. But the real future could be much more complicated. AI doesn't need a physical body to have enormous influence. It could affect information, markets, cybersecurity, scientific research, infrastructure, communication, politics, and the global economy. A sufficiently powerful AI could influence the world simply by controlling or advising the systems humans depend on. And that raises a profound question. If humans remain in control, but every major decision is made with AI assistance, are humans really still making the decisions? Maybe the biggest transformation won't be machines replacing humanity. Maybe it will be humans gradually becoming dependent on machines. But there is another possibility. Perhaps the future isn't humans versus AI. Perhaps it's humans with AI. Imagine every person having access to an intelligence capable of helping them learn, create, invent, and solve problems. A student could have a personal tutor that understands exactly how they learn. A small business owner could have a team of AI assistants. A scientist could collaborate with systems capable of exploring ideas beyond human capacity. A creative person could turn an idea into a movie, game, or virtual world with almost no technical barriers. AI could amplify human potential instead of replacing it. And perhaps that is the most important distinction. The future may not be about whether AI becomes smarter than humans. It may be about whether humans become smarter with AI. So, what happens when AI becomes smarter than us? The honest answer is, we don't know. And anyone who tells you they know exactly what will happen is probably guessing. It could become the greatest technological breakthrough in human history. It could help us solve problems that have challenged civilization for centuries. Or it could create risks that humanity has never faced before. But one thing is almost certain. The moment machines begin surpassing humans across a broad range of intellectual abilities, the relationship between humanity and technology will never be the same again. And perhaps the most important question isn't, will AI become smarter than humans? Perhaps the real question is, what kind of humans will we become when it does? Because the future of AI isn't only about machines. It's about us. This is Future Nova AI. And the future is closer than you think.